Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing High Gear. Now, it's almost become like a tradition here on this channel that on Tuesdays I feature a puzzle from James Sinclair's artisanal Sudoku series, where he would publish 3, sometimes 4 free puzzles a week as part of, I think, like a dozen, 10 usually, puzzles as part of sort of this email subscription that anyone can sign up to. Now, James in particular tends to include a couple of puzzles that are like really quick to do. We're talking about difficulty ratings, on a scale of 1 to 10, usually 1 or 2, which I'll be honest would translate into almost like zero point 0.5 on our normal, 1 to 5 scale from Logic Masters Germany. But like for some reason, I just really wanted something that's a bit more of a challenge. So I've looked down the puzzle list. I picked one that looks like it's around 1 star. On his rating, it's 6 out of 10, so I'm using the additional clues 1, the third in the list, called High Gear. Now, when you actually take a look at the puzzle itself, you can definitely see the reference to the gears. There's no doubt about that. But like, I almost get the feeling of a workshop for some reason. I look at the gears, I look at kind of their setup, and it really looks like a workshop, which is exactly what you see Sleuth is doing here in a workshop, machining some parts, I assume, and using the magnifying glass to be able to study them in detail. So before I actually get into today's puzzle, I just want to mention one more thing. So, like, if I think around what I spend my time doing, Sudoku is certainly something that I do in my spare time. The other thing that I would say gets a lot of it is actually a video game called Civilization. Now, I don't know how many of you are actually into it. I'm going to say I'm not really that into it, but at the same time, I'm taking a look at how many hours I've played, and apparently just shy of 600. 599.4 hours to be exact. So nowhere near like some of the bigger streamers out there of Civ 6, where they've done like 5,000, 6,000 hours, but it's a fair way up there. And I'm sure any of you that are actually following this franchise, you're familiar with the fact that Civilization 7 is just round the corner, coming in February, not far off my birthday actually, and I'm genuinely tempted to actually stream it on this channel or play a few video games on this channel and see how you guys react to it. Maybe it's not for this audience, in which case I'll just park it or maybe start a different channel, but I imagine I will sink at least another 600 hours into it, and it's a question whether the content will be enjoyable for you guys or not. Let me know down in the comments, and at some point I will run a community poll just to get your feedback on it and see if it's something worthwhile doing. Anyway, enough of the distraction and the introduction. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with High Gear by James Sinclair. The alt there, I assume, stands for alternative, where I've gone for the one with additional clues, and therefore it gives it a 6 out of 10 rating, which, as I said, will probably feel on the hard side of 1 star. A bit unfair for a Tuesday, but I really was feeling up for a challenge. Rules-wise, we got the following. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and then every 3x3 box. Nothing unusual about that one. We've got killer cages. I can see 2 cages, really. I'm just going to read the rule. I'm not going to try and demonstrate it. The sum of the digits inside each cage is equal to the small number in the top left corner, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. So essentially, these 5 cells, they are 5 distinct numbers from the digits 1 to 9. Can't repeat any of them. And these 5 digits must add up to 30. These 5 digits must add up to 35. Arrows, so the sum of the digits on an arrow is equal to the digits in the connected circle. So if you imagine that this is, let's say, 2 and 4, these 2 cells add up to 6. That's what's inside the circle. It also means that these 2 cells and these 2 cells also have to add up to 6. So it's not the case that, you're aggregating all of these. Each branch, so to speak, will have to add up to whatever's inside the circle. Then we've got the following rules. So digits in a shaded square must be even. So these cells, for example, have to be from an even digit, 2, 4, 6, or 8. We got crop key dots. Digits in cells separated by a white dot are consecutive. So if this cell is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to make sure it is consecutive. And digits separated by a black dot have a ratio of 1 to 2. So if this cell is 2, this would have to be 1 or 4 to make sure that essentially one cell is double the other. And I think that is all the rules. Yeah, nothing left really on the list. So, as always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right, so you can tell almost immediately why I shied away from looking at this 35 cage, because it's forced. 5 cells that add up to 35 without repeats have to be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Nothing else will come close. And I already can see that this is 8, 9. 9 cannot be on an arrow cell, because even if I make that a 1, I'm already at 10, not a digit I can even write in. So no 9s. No 9, because half of 9 is 4.5, double of 9 is 18. 9 has to be on here, and therefore this is 8 as well. Black Kropke dot, remember, of the digits 1, 2, 4, and 8, and then of course 3 and 6. The other digits 5, 7, and 9 can never be on black Kropke dots, as demonstrated by the 9. From 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, well, 6 and 8 are the only ones that would work on a black Kropke dot. I've already used the 8, that's our first digit, that's 6, that's 3. That forces this arrow sum to be 1 and 2, ironically overlapping with some of my scribbles. And these 2 cells have to be 5 and 7. We can keep going. This cell here has to be bigger than 7. And again, we just talked about black Kropke dots. That's going to force it to be 8. That's going to be 4. One of these cells is going to be a 3 to add up to the 5, and then the other one is going to be a 1 to add to the 7 to get to 8. 1, 7 and 3, 5 are not available. This is forced to be 2, 6. And then the remaining digits are, I'm going to say 5, 7, and 9. I'm not going to pencil mark that. 1, 3, of course, in column 3 means that's a 2. That's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1, that bounces back, that's 3, that's 1, that 3 goes with a 5, that 1 goes with a 7, and all of that is done. Let's keep going with box 5. These 3 cells are the remaining digits, which are, I'm going to say 4, 5, or 7. These add up to 18, and therefore these, sorry, is it 18? 16, excuse me. 16. So these 2 cells are going to have to add up to 14 to get me to 30. 2 cells to get to 14, remember they can't repeat, that's in the rules. 5, 9 is not available, this has to be 6, 8. Which also means for this to be bigger than an 8, this would have to be a 9. One of these cells is 1, one of them is a 3. In fact, we can resolve that. That's essentially 6 and 3 and 8 and 1. That 1 tells us that's the 3, that's the 1, that's the 6, that's the 8. Got a few options for the 9 here, unlike the 8, so I'm not going to pursue that necessarily further. 2, 4, and 8, actually. That's got to be a 6. There's no other even digit. That gives me 2 and 6 down here. This is not 2 or 6. This is 4 or 8. Not as useful as I was hoping. Here's something. At most, I have 1 even digit in here. Interesting, actually. I wasn't thinking that I actually would want to use this, but let's think about it. Essentially, I have 3 digits that are even. I cannot make this even anymore. Well, I can't make these 2 cells even, because obviously that would be too many. But essentially, one of these 3 cells has to be even, doesn't it? Because either 2 odds adding up to an even, or there is an even and an odd adding up to odds. And I can't make 2 odds add up to an odd. So the last even is actually in here. Which doesn't actually help me with the 4, 8. I don't like, it's a massive distraction. Just ignore everything I said for now. Do we need to think about these ones? 2 and 6. This is 4 and 8. This is not 2 or 8. This is 4 and 6. In fact, it's not 6 actually. It's 2, 6, and 8. All can see it. That's 4. That's 8. That's lovely. These are not 4s. And that is the 4. And we're going to keep going. We're kind of slowly running out of things to do, though. When I say things to do, like we're kind of using a lot of the variant clues fairly quickly. Most of them are like almost done. Just having a think. Ah, yeah, that is actually quite a high digit because you see, without the 1, the minimum I can get to now is 2 and 3 to get to a 5. I can't even do that because 3 and 2 both see the cell. But anyway, minimum is 5, which is not a black Kropke dot. Digit 6 and 8 it is, which forces 3 and 4 down here, and that 4 tells me that's 3, that's going to be 6, that's going to be the 8 according to Sudoku. These two cells can't be 1, 5, they have to be 2, 4, that's 2, that's 4. And then these two cells, they're either 2, 4, or they're 1, 5. Is that correct? It is 1, 5. Sudoku says 1s have to be on these cells. That's the 1, that's the 5. That gives me 7 and 5. We are rapidly running out of variants to use, by the way, so we are going to have to focus on Sudoku pretty soon. So this is not 1, 8, it's not 3, 6. It can be 2, 7, and it can be 4, 5. Okay, we're really only left with 1 arrow at this point in here that we haven't thought about. Does Sudoku help me here at all? Is there any easy wins? So I need 5, 7, and 9. Not really. Not 9. Not 5. No 6. No 6, no 6. Here's an easy one. These are still 5, 7, 9. So 5, 7, 9 seem to be popping up quite a bit. Still need a 1. Still need a 3. And that's less exciting. These two, well, I should say 2 cells, 3 cells. 3, 9, and 8. Not 3, not 8. That's 9. This is a 3, 8 pair. And then the 3 can't be in here. That's the 3. This is not 9. This is 5, 7. Don't know how I managed to remove a 9 and actually add an 8 instead. 5, 7 pair. I mean, we may as well complete this column, shouldn't we? What am I after? 1, 2, and 4? 1 and 2 gave me 4. No. 1, 2, and... seriously now. 9. So that's 9. These are a 1, 2 pair. Then these cells I am after. What? Where's... no. I made a mistake. Yeah, 5, 7. Excuse me. So I'm going to rewind quite a bit here. You know, such a smooth solve that I just absolutely butchering as I get to Sudoku. So let's try this again. Right. I still needed a 1. That was correct. And then these are 3, 8, 9s. That is still correct. This is not 3 and 8. This is 9. This is the 3, 8 pair. None of that has changed. Let's try this row first. This is 2, 5. Yes. And this is 2, 5, 7, or 9. It's not 2. And it's just actually 5, 7 because that's not a 9. So this is a 5, 7 pair. Yeah. The only place for a 2 is in here. So this is correct. Then I have another 5, 7, a 1, and a 9. Which unfortunately doesn't help this time. This is the 5, 7, or 9. And then there is a definite 1 in one of these 2 cells. Okay. There's a definite 2 in one of these 2 cells. Plus another 5, 7, plus something else, a 4. Which could be anywhere. Right, 2, 5. Actually, that's not a 2. That's 5 because we've already placed a 2. That's 7, 9. Are any of these resolved? I'm missing something here. How am I like massively butchering this? I keep forgetting the 7 that's in here. That's 3. That's 5. And this is 1, 7, 9. Not a 9. And then are these resolved? No. Okay. I think I've got this Sudoku right this time. Then we have in here 2, 4, and 5 by the looks of things. Not a 2. Not brilliant. And we're back to, I guess, box 1. Try and bring it all home. Right, so essentially I have another 4-8 somewhere in here, and because of the deduction that I made earlier, it's got to be somewhere in these 3 cells. All of the rest are basically odd digits. I think that's a fair statement. 1, 3, and 5 tells me that's 7, 9. That gives me a 7, 9 pair in row 3. Then these cells are going to be made up of 4, 5, and 8. And you can see the 4 and 8, they can't be in here. That's the 5, that's the 4, that's the 8. Does that help me at all? Not really. This is not the even digit. This is still the odd digit because you can see 2, 4, 6, and 8 in the column. This is an odd digit that is not 5. That can basically be just about anything else as long as it fits on the arrow. 1, 3, 5, 7, and again, not 5. Now, I'm allowing the 7 because technically I could place an 8 and a 1 in here. But no 9s, no 9. 9 is in one of 3 cells, not very helpful. It lines up with 9s in columns 1 and 3. So 9s, at least in box 4, is in one of these 3 cells. Some very unusual deductions from me today. I'm not really sure if I'm just making this harder for myself, bouncing around like that. 5, 7, for example, pair in column 8 means that these are 3, 4, and 6. And of course, for convenience, they're all on different rows, 4, 3, and 6. I am still missing 2, 7, and 9. And again, they don't really line up. But I'm going for it. 2, 7, and 9. Not a 2, not a 7, and it's anything. It does place 4 in one of these 2 cells, which is not a massive deduction, really. So I have another 2, 4, another 5, 7, and a 6. And the 6 can only be in here. This means with a 7, 9 pair, that's a 2, that's a 5, that's a 7, and this is another 2, 4, which isn't resolved in the row. 2, 4 pair means that's not a 2. It was never a 2. Go figure. And of course, it still needs to add up to 9. Come on, sleuth. Wakey, wakey. Sorry, I'm clearly going to sleep in here. That's the 2. The 4 gave me the 8 because that can't be an 8 anymore. And one of them has to be even. In fact, this has to be the 4, doesn't it? Ooh. This would have to be the 4 based on all of the deductions I made earlier because the 4s are neither of these cells. So that's 4 with 1, 3 pair, and this is a 7, technically speaking. That's a 9. That's a 7. That's not 7 or 9, that's 1, that's 7, that's 9. This is resolvable, surely. Yep, 3, 8, 3, no, 5, 1. And I think we're pretty much there. I'm not doubting, by the way, that slightly unorthodox deductions and solution path, but you know, I'll take what I can get. I'm just not calling out some of the more obvious Sudoku as I'm filling it in. No point in teaching people to suck eggs. So 4 and 6, 3, 4, and 6, and then we're done with pencil marks. Now this is just a 2. I need a 1 somewhere, which is in here. I need a 3. There. I need 7 and 8. There and there. Fantastic puzzle, James Sinclair. So like a 14-minute solve, I think makes it highly appropriate to be a weekday puzzle despite the difficulty rating. And just having a think, aside from just absolutely muddling up some Sudoku here earlier, I don't know if there's really a lot more that I could have done better. And I think if you didn't really think about the odds and evens in here, although you're kind of being prompted to push, I'm sure Sudoku would have given and revealed like another solution path. So I think you guys are going to find this highly approachable. Looking forward to reading your comments, not just about the puzzle in the video, which I hope you enjoyed, but also about whether Civilization 7 is something that I should feature on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you back soon. Bye bye for now.